First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, sorry. Are we recording?
Now we are. Yep.
Okay, now we are. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here. Erica. Here. Ryan. Here.
Here.
Got halfway around before we disintegrated that time, I guess. Is the meeting properly notified?
Yes, it was. And as a reminder, it's live streamed and recorded.
Next, comments by board members and superintendent. State convention update. I'm assuming it's based on our letter we received.
Yeah, so all of you should have received, now the organizers of the convention are requiring proof of vaccination or test result, and no matter what, all attendees must wear a face mask to attend any convention event. So I told Callie I'm not interested, so they canceled the hotel room and not sign me up.
As well as me.
Erica also said the same thing.
I was gonna try to email today, but that would be me also. So when I got the packet, I think this might be another,
This is more.
Oh, that's the delegate
yeah.
stuff.
So I got some in the mail too, so
Okay.
I thought I had it here, but I need to be in my car at home. So I can give that to whoever.
Or she has an update just today too.
Yeah, they're offering it virtually now, so if you wanted to join virtually, you can.
Or if you're
Instead
just
of in
planning on
person.
I
attending.
don't know. No one else is going near as much fun.
No,
So I'll stay home.
so they're offering it, but
Actually, I don't want to get COVID just before I go to the
I was
well.
gonna say, do you want to go to the Omicron super spreader?
Right. So I'll stay home too.
Okay,
and
so
we don't
I'm
have,
gonna-
it's not required participation, right? It's not like it's a requirement that each district has to.
No, but somebody
Should.
just should do it.
Okay.
And at the end, if you can't do the delegate thing.
Are they doing the whole convention virtual or just his portion?
Just that portion.
And, just again, I think we talked about it before, but, John Bales is at our December superintendent pack meeting, C11. And, we all gave him plenty of feedback saying, if they do this, like they did the fall drive-ins, it's gonna have a severe impact on attendance, and he knew that. So I am surprised, but I'm guessing the tourism of Milwaukee, hotels and restaurants and stuff are not pleased with this. It's gonna really impact them.
So my daughter just sent me a text. She works at Mayo, and Southeast Minnesota is like the highest ever in there. They don't allow you to use a cloth mask in Mayo facilities, and they're now for all their up to N95s because the normal masks don't keep out the Omicron. So she's like, Ed, you need to use that N95s all the time, which are kind of hard to breathe through, but it's going around.
It honestly doesn't surprise me. We have Spencer Bowles, a big trade show in Europe, was canceled. The big trade show, the electronic show, CSE, was just cut back. You had to be vaccinated or negative test every 24 hours. You had to actually get tested every day out there to be present inside of the event. So like it didn't shock me because I was getting all the same stuff at work at the same time.
So that's the updates then.
Okay, so nobody's going, right?
I guess the only question would be if Josh wants to do it virtually or Jeff virtually.
Yeah, so you go ahead and do it, and if, as it comes up and
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, virtually, I think we'll do it all.
Okay, one of us will do it virtually.
Okay.
Okay.
Agenda item. I'm scanning it, sorry. COVID mitigation plan review, consider latest CDC guidelines.
So in light of the new CDC guidelines, I just took liberty of drafting a letter. And if you approve of this variation in COVID mitigation plan, because the board approved it in August 2nd, any plans, changes to that plan need to be board approved. So, I figured it was just easiest to put it in the letter format, because, if you approve it, send it out tomorrow, and then you can, with a motion, approve that these changes be put into the COVID mitigation plan, which is just one slide on quarantine and isolation. So basically, if you haven't heard, simplify it. They now do a 5-day option, but then to return to school, work, etc., you have to mask for 5 days. So that's what this lays it out. If you're positive or if you're a household member, again, we only require that if you're household close contact. And again, if this lines up with if you're vaccinated, you don't have to.
Isn't that just changed today? I thought you had to have a negative test at day 5.
Day 5,
I thought that just changed today
for
from the CDC. I thought they
positive.
would- Yeah, if you're positive. So the top one. You have to have a negative test at 5 days. I thought they just changed that. I'm not saying you have to follow that. We have to follow it. I'm just saying, like, I thought it was just changed.
And it
today.
is. So, there's a couple school districts that have already put the letters out for Falls. And then this is Hudson's, modeled more closely to Hudson's, which isn't astringent. Had a county health meeting today, and I need to let you know, they recommend still sticking with 10 days of isolation or quarantine. And they've always respected, schools, they aren't requiring schools to do that. They just say, hey, here's the best guidance from a public health standpoint. 10 days we recommend. Because their concerns are, like the lunch table, especially kids that come back with the mask and they're gonna eat together or whatever. They're not, and they go, the CDC assumes nationwide schools are doing universal masking. So she said, knowing that no districts in our county are doing that, lunch and all that, we recommend 10 days. And we've always cooperated. They understand education in person is our first priority. We understand public health is their priority. And the two often conflict and overlap, and intersect, and we just work collaboratively. We give them information, they give us information, but they respect our decisions.
This is the honor system, so we're not requiring medical proof, so it's honor system that.
Spoke with Nurse Wendy today, for example. She doesn't ask people, have you been vaccinated? She says, if you are vaccinated, here's the option. If you're unvaccinated, here's, so she, treads lightly with that. We don't require any proof of vaccination. We're not, where she says we're really not interested in being, the police and policing this. Well, I should paraphrase. They're not afraid of hard work. It's not in our best interest for them to be spending the time and doing that. And anything that, sheds light on somebody, you gotta be really careful with, they're wearing a mask. Are they wearing a mask because they have to or because they choose to? Again, that's kind of personal freedom. So no, we're very aware and cognizant of, their choice and us not necessarily being the police on all this stuff. We're here to educate kids mainly. We want to spread or prevent, kids from being sick too, but if we respect it's an individual choice.
Are we getting a lot of communication as to if we're gonna do anything more, or like?
We haven't, when we came back from break, there were some that came with masks and just assumed because the CDC said so that they could come to school with masks. And we, at the elementary, had to call the parents and say, no, not at this time, we're still under the 10-day thing. But it's going to the school board for approval, and it had been consideration this week. So that was the only real, but no, and again, maybe a couple people might say this isn't enough, but those people have the right, again, to wear masks, to excuse their child, do virtual. There's lots of options. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, because our first plan beginning of the year, we didn't really say much about the CDC stuff, because they were recommending that, now we're kind of saying we want to go by the CDC, you know what I'm saying?
Some CDC we do, some we don't.
Yeah.
CDC also says universal masking.
Yeah.
But the CDC also said if you're unvaccinated, if you're vaccinated in household contact, you don't have to
Yeah.
So we take
all
their,
the stuff.
and this, wearing a mask is recommended, not required.
Yeah. the mask were just it's like a trigger thing.
Yep.
So,
And again, you know, if somebody's like, nope, my child, or the child doesn't want to wear a mask, they can stay home for the additional 5 days.
Yep.
So
I think as long as you read it carefully, it's an understanding that they're all just recommendations for the most part.
and then there's super specific details, kind of like anything else with internal use, so that, you know, the nurses are gonna have to work with public health officials in determining this stuff, but we do that already.
I was just asking, because if you're gonna click here and it's really the live one, that would have changed. That's all there is.
I see.
Because it's like, you're calling it out here and it doesn't say to retest, if you link it, but I'm just asking, that's why.
Yep, and that's just for more information, doesn't mean this is the exact plan. Yeah. So if you're okay with mainly with approving, you know, those changes of 5 and then mask for 5 would be the only change really to the COVID mitigation plan.
So are you asking us to forward approval, or is it just an FYI?
Yes, please. No, I think we should require, these plans that require board approval, even for our ESSER dollars, they require that we put it on a board agenda. And
This has to be approved by the.
for the COVID mitigation plan, every 6 months has to be reviewed as part of the ESSER dollars.
So this is gonna be our
Follow up. Not necessarily. I think we have to do it in 6 months, so like April.
Okay.
February, whatever it was, 6 months from August.
And it goes out tomorrow, tell parents.
Ideally, I'd like to get that out, because again, these folks are wondering and.
And they can stay home the 10 days.
Correct.
Like,
Yep.
so.
I'll make
Is that
a
changing?
motion to approve the letter as presented.
Yep.
You should-
Oh, no, afterwards. Oh, yeah. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
All right.
Does it do anything, change anything for teachers? Is this,
Well, they would be under the same,
okay.
yep, it's for staff and students.
Okay. But really, the CDC is saying if you've got the vaccine in 6 months, longer than 6 months, you're same category as unvaccinated. Right?
Mhm.
That's their change.
Of the booster.
So if you're not
Boosted, you're not,
boosted, you're
they're
considered
vaccinated.
vaccinated.
So I understand it.
Yeah.
Read the CDC's today. I didn't think it was fully
It must-
explicit.
Yeah, so there's two sections from the CDC. Either you've been boosted
Yep.
or you're at it 6 months or unvaccinated.
Yeah, they're just not calling it fully vaccinated, right? They're just using different terminology now.
And yeah, but you're in the same.
Yeah.
If it's been 7 months,
Mhm.
then you're considered unvaccinated.
In my first version was more closely the River Falls, they had all those details,
Right.
this, and then Nurse Wendy, her feedback was, let's keep, this is too much, too,
Right.
Yeah.
too ground
I
level
read the River
details.
Falls one, yeah.
Right, I like that.
So, where she suggested that, like, yeah, that's what we're gonna have to operate, but it was just too much
Right.
information.
So maybe if the staff knows, you're kind of, either you tested positive, you're boosted, or you're unvaccinated. Those are your 3 categories that you
And I
can.
think it says that here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Under the.
To
under number
continue work, you have to receive a
Yeah.
booster or complete a series in
Yeah.
the last 6
Okay.
months. So like-
Yeah, just so people understand that you've got the 2 paths now,
Yeah,
either you are vaccinated or you're not boosted.
And everybody was May-ish, right?
it was end of March, beginning of April was the majority, that's when it's available, like first round.
Yeah.
So they should still be in it.
No,
They're in 6 months.
they're out of it.
Yeah, then we had the boosters, it kind of really,
Okay.
you know,
I'm just
like
thinking they didn't after their first one.
October, I believe, is when the boosters.
Because nobody's asking, really.
Yeah, not here, but I mean, there are employers,
Yeah.
and like even the NCA for officiating, they're like, oh, resubmit your vaccine card, you've been boosted, for that, say, like, it'll be confidential. Shared it with
But if you're not on the court,
8 copies.
it's obvious that you weren't.
Okay, so, got that motion, that should be good. Yeah, any questions, just ask, but it's ever changing as we said back in August.
I'm not sure we voted.
We did,
We did.
Vince and Josh.
The middle and the second.
No, I said,
You called for an aye.
Oh, okay,
And then-
sorry.
no, yeah, it's fine.
Memory's great, it's for short.
Like, Jeff wanted to
He's
really,
already in.
like, immediately vote for this one.
You know, after this great conversation.
Reaffirm mosquitoes.
It is,
I wasn't gonna open it up for another
it is telling, I mean, that's a major change. I mean,
Yes.
It's a major change. People don't know about it.
Next is the consideration of the consent agenda. So on there is the approval of the minutes and then the resignations and retirements.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second it?
Any discussion, questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approved. Now to the meat of the agenda, the core agenda items. And we have to take them in this order. And when we make them one at a time, everyone has to have a motion and approved. And then when we do it, we just have to read it as it's written in the agenda, not, you don't have to read the entire thing.
Oh,
Okay, so the way it's done, like, you're on the call, so with our attorney, that just read it exactly when you make the motion, exactly as it's written on the agenda.
And then make sure that you and Jeff sign each one as well.
I have an
Right.
update here.
And Jen is also recording all, what is it called?
It's the excerpts of minutes.
So the first one is the resolution to exceed revenue cap,
So I would
commencing with 22-23.
consideration of approval of resolution to exceed revenue cap commencing with the 2022-23 school year. Someone needs a second.
I second it.
Should it,
There's questions? Good, looks like.
should it say up to on those? So we don't have to.
For the first one?
Yes, here, where the 1.3 million or whatever, and then the 275,000 reoccurring.
We have to put in the maximum amount and then it's up to the district's discretion.
To levy, you don't have to levy the full amount, that's kind of.
I know, I just wish it would say it in the,
No, you're fine with the attorneys and it said had to be written as it's written.
all right, I'll just, yeah.
Yeah, again, it's that, I mean, part of the reason we did that questionnaire though about trusting, right? What is the level of trust? Because they have to trust us to do it, right? I mean, that's part of the reason that they asked that question in the survey about it, because the way it has to be written, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have to do it. But we
I
have to
mean,
ask.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just like,
For this one, because it's the revenue cap, I think, Tom, this is what he does all the time. So he was very familiar with our whole process and intent and purpose. So I trust that every word is as needed. Okay.
Second that.
Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed?
Which exact document should be signed, Jen?
Don't
I have all of them right
They'll
here.
sign it.
So I'll bring them up.
Yeah.
This is not one. Just guessing. Next, we have the consideration and approval of initial resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed 30 million. So in the conversation we had, so I was on with Tim and the staff. I don't know who else on the other end of the line. Jen's there. You're okay. I wasn't sure who else on the other side of the call.
Us
Yeah.
three, Tom Griggs.
Okay.
The
All right.
bond council.
So we talked about it and just the idea of that was the idea is going forward with this, kind of like in a net zero impact,
30 million.
30 million, right? Because we had discussed potentially a little bit above or whatever, what do we do, but we're gonna have to figure out how to do it as is was the discussion.
And
So you can all be aware of why that number was landed upon.
we're very confident we can do all those things we wanted. Which originally was 31.8 or something.
Close to 32.
Because of
Agreement.
that grant, yep. And there's also the, possibility of the design phase, right? They did square footage, so knowing that amount, then they can design accordingly, so we're very comfortable with 30 million, and that was the overall most important priority was net zero tax impact.
That's what we got out of the task force, right, loud and clear.
Well, test group was okay with more, but I think there was strong feeling that zero would be better, so I like it. I move consideration approval of initial resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds in the amount not to exceed $30 million.
It's a good thing we didn't have to read the whole thing.
I'm glad, yeah.
Second, I asked that question.
Howard, whether he had to or not.
Did you have any other questions?
No, by second.
Okay, yeah. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And Jen, you wanna maybe just explain this third one, and, you know, like, even though there's two questions. what this means?
I know.
Yeah, so the third resolution makes it so that we can actually hold an election or hold a referendum. So without that, we can have our two questions approved, but we still can't take them to the public because we haven't approved to actually have a referendum.
It directs the publication in the Hudson Star Observer and all
Right.
that stuff.
And all of that information was included in your packet too, all of the notices that will go to the newspaper and the dates that they have to be published, and as well as publishing on the DPI website and those types of things.
Tom does a really nice job. I did add technology in the excess levy. You know, the committee was, it seemed to be important that technology was in there, and he just put salary and other operating need. And I suggested that he add technology. Inserted right. That's good.
Yep.
Because it was important.
Yeah.
He write it in the words, I think.
But that and technology is fairly vague.
I move consideration of approval of resolution providing for a referendum election on the questions of the approval of a resolution to exceed the district's revenue cap commencing with the 2022-23 school year, and the approval of an initial resolution authorizing issuance of general obligation bonds in the amount not to exceed $30 million.
Second.
Any further discussions or questions? All right, all those in favor to hold the election? Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carried. Good work.
We adjourn this one, or is it all?
It's part of this
We
one.
don't, but I mean, just anybody watching the recording, just explain next activities, and it won't be recorded because of board development.
Or we can leave on the Zoom call.
Can't.
Huh?
Do what?
Are we leaving the Zoom
No,
call on during
That's not,
board training or whatever?
no, and this is a courtesy, you know, folks could have attended in person, it's still an open meeting. Also like to introduce Stacy Paschke, she's online, she's our new district communications coordinator, grant coordinator as well, started Monday. Her office is right here right now. But off to a great start, so very excited. Like this letter right here, she was able to big help with. You know, so welcome, Stacy. We're gonna sign off. All right.
Do we have to explain it further or we're good?
I think we're good if you want to stop it there, Kelly.